Why is an organization that is staffed with highly talented people and provided with resources that, quite frankly, are unparalleled anywhere else, failing to perform? I'll give you two reasons and then consider them in succession. Bureaucratization and politicization. Let's begin with bureaucratization, or what somebody much cleverer than I has referred to as bureaucratic hardening of the arteries. CIA is in the business of espionage. So forget for a moment all the gadgets and the technology and everything that Hollywood can imagine. The core business of CIA is recruiting spies inside target organizations, handling them securely, and producing intelligence for policymakers in Washington, D.C. At its heart, this is a very old business, as they say, the world's second oldest profession. And its essence has remained unchanged for thousands of years. This is not a science, it is an art. There is a reason intelligence officers talk in terms of tradecraft, because it is a craft. Not everybody can do it. Certainly not everybody wants to do it, because it can be a very, very hard business. A CIA case officer may be called upon to do many things in the course of his or her career, but when it comes down to it, his or her primary job is this: spotting, assessing, developing, and recruiting spies. That means getting close enough to some often very objectionable people to figure out what makes them tick, convincing them somehow to trust you, convincing them that you can keep them alive, and that they should help you by betraying their colleagues, their countries, their causes, all things in which they believe very deeply. We have forgotten all of this. We have done our level best to turn CIA into just another federal agency. Recruiters no longer search for intangibles or focus on key psychological traits critical to success in the world of spying. They look at degrees, existing levels of language proficiency, and increasingly at things like the color of your skin and your sexual orientation. Training has been softened and become increasingly form book in nature. We act as if anybody can be taught to conduct espionage. We are now all fungible. This is no longer an arcane craft to be practiced by a select group of very unique people. You send somebody to training for a few months, they'll be fine. We have buried operations under endless layers of middle management. The fact that we can move large quantities of information over vast distances somehow now compels us to do so. So a case officer in the field may spend days writing up all the necessary paperwork to document a single asset meeting. Every moment they're doing that is a moment they are not out meeting sources, they are not recruiting new sources, they are not learning the environment around them. Back home, increasingly the ranks of management are filled with individuals who have never demonstrated that they can accomplish anything on the street. In many cases, they will have only left Northern Virginia for a handful of short trips abroad. They have laughed at the boss's jokes. They have demonstrated their fealty to the prevailing groupthink. They have moved paper, attended meetings, and climbed the corporate ladder. In large measure, they have absolutely no idea how to run an operation or recruit a source.